Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, Tomb Raider, the rights are up. They're done. They've got Hollywood in a feeding frenzy trying to get the rights. Now, they were previously held with MGM, the sort of Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider movie. Tomb Raider 2's dead. It's not happening now. That was going to be with Misha Green of Lovecraft Country. This project's completely dead now. The rights have lapsed. They were held with MGM and GK Films. They're back with GK Films, who has the rights anyway, I think, if I remember rightly. Which we'll get into an article anyway. And now everyone's bidding. They opened bids last week. And now it's hotting up quite a lot. Which makes sense. The video game movie adaptation trend has gone more and more. We've seen more and more positive elements to that. I mean, Sonic 2, that film did very, very well. There's been a few other video game adaptations which could be considered a success. And so I guess people are looking to grab a hold of this. Interestingly enough, the report says it's from a lot of streamers, you know, streaming-based platforms. And I can't help but wonder to myself, Amazon, you just bought MGM. Why didn't you push this into the forefront straight away? This would have been great for Amazon. Could have done a TV series. A Tomb Raider TV series. That would have been epic. Would have been absolutely epic. So let's take a look at this. Again, this is, yeah, interesting. I think, personally. Tomb Raider film rights has Hollywood in a feeding frenzy. MGM has lost the rights. And Alicia Vikander is no longer attached to the property as Lara Croft. I think she made a pretty decent Lara Croft, actually, if I remember rightly. Not horrendous. That movie, the movie was a bit of nothing. It wasn't, you know, it was neither here nor there, really, that movie. I think it had potential to be better than it was. I think I remember rightly, Walton Goggins was the sort of nemesis in it. Which was good as well. You know, Walton Goggins always good. He needs to be in more things. But yeah, this is interesting. Like MGM, you'd have thought that they would have greenlit this and just really pushed it forward. Especially after being purchased by Amazon and having all that star power. But maybe it's just a little bit too early in Amazon's sort of reign over MGM. And they couldn't get it moving quick enough. You never know. But let's take a look, right? Tomb Raider is in search of a new home. Studios and streamers are bidding to acquire the film rights to the property that for 9 years was at MGM and has now returned to producer Graham King and his GK Films. So yeah, it's back with GK Films like I thought. 9 years MGM had it for. And you know what? I bet you MGM asked to keep it as well. I bet you they asked to keep it. Because this is generally what happens. You know, unless you make something in that time, the rights lapse. And that's why these have lapsed. They had it for 9 years. That was obviously the time span it's lapsed. It also goes some way, for those that don't know and are a bit confused, this sort of deal is the same that Constantine Films has with Capcom. Hence why they keep spewing out all of these shitty Resident Evil series or movies. It's just a means to keep a hold of the rights and make some money from it. You know, it's an IP, big name brand, and they keep pushing stuff out the moment the rights are about to lapse. But obviously MGM couldn't do it in time, but they would have asked. I bet you anything they would have asked. Opening bids were taken last week, but things have escalated into a bidding war. Now, I think the fact that it's escalated into a bidding war goes some way to show where the industry is headed. You know, I think the future is these kind of IPs that aren't tapped. I mean, you know, comic book movies are tapped out. Superhero genre is tapped out. There's only so much you can do with that now, I think. And there only ever has been so much you could do with it. But the video game industry is huge. And they're ripe for the picking. There's so many adaptations now that have been worth so much money to different platforms. You know, Halo, for instance, has cost so much money. I think it was like a $90 million, $100 million, $90 million, something like that. It's like $10 million an episode. It's crazy, the Halo TV series. Just absolutely insanity in terms of the costing of these things. So I think that's probably why you know, there's a bidding war for Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is a big name brand, huge property, just needs to be adapted right. You know, the original Angelina Jolie stuff, they weren't bad. I mean, they're definitely of their time. You know, the first one coming out 2001, Jesus, and then that second one coming out 2003. I mean, that's crazy. But even back then, those films brought in a combined 432 million worldwide, which is bloody good going. Now, it's interesting as well because the property debuted in games in 1996. It's interesting that they were really quick to jump on that and adapt it. And I would have to go back and watch those, you know, the first Tomb Raider film and see if it holds up. Because I bet you anything I think it probably would hold up a little bit. Obviously, you know, remove all the visual effects and things like that from the equation. But I think as a video game adaptation, I don't think it was bad, if I remember rightly. I'm sure there's some people furiously typing down below now going, what are you talking about? Shit! But I don't know. I'm going to have to take a look at it. But yeah, I mean, the first Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider didn't do very well. $275 million globally. Not very good. And it was going to have a sequel directed by Lovecraft Country's creator Misha Green. That project's now dead, and the role is expected to be recast. I don't think Alicia Vikander can do it either. She doesn't have the athleticism as she once did. I mean, this one came out. When was it? I can't remember when this one actually came out. It was quite a while back now. I mean, they've had it for 9 years, so 2018. So I don't think maybe she'd have the athleticism. Now it's not that much older, is it really? She has had a baby though, if I remember rightly. I don't know if that was before or after this. But either way, I would imagine they'll look to do a completely clean break, remove themselves from any previous iterations. But I think this is interesting, you know, Amazon, they jump on board with MGM and they've not bothered to push this forward. It's crazy. It's quite crazy. Now, it's actually GK Films that acquired the film rights from video game maker Square Enix in 2011. MGM did not respond to requests for comment because they're probably nursing some wounds there. Really annoyed. But GK Films obviously going to be making bank from this deal. So let me know what you guys think. I think this is quite telling of the way the industry is headed. Video game adaptations. And I will say this much as well. I think the next big thing, which is untapped at present, is RPG tabletop games. Built-in lore, I think they will be the next big thing. But again, oh, and also that's coming from Dungeons and Dragons. That will be the tipping point, I reckon. I bet you anything. I bet you anything. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Cheers. Take care. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.